Hello and welcome to season 2 of Family Matters. If you're joining us for the very first time, this is a show where we discuss various issues that affect family members and individuals. And to help me discuss these issues, I have Mike and Liz. Welcome. In our last season, we discussed very interesting topics and we got some very good feedback, and I'm hoping that this time will be no different. Mike, just tell me a bit about yourself.
I'm a husband, I'm a father, I'm a grandpa, and I'm a pastor as well.
I'm a married wife to Mike. I'm a grandma to Nathaniel and Neil. And I am also a psychologist, counseling psychologist, and a relationship consultant.
Right. Now, the topic that we have chosen to begin this show is a very, very interesting one. That's one that we don't talk about much. How to survive a loveless marriage. Why have you chosen this topic, Liz?
You know, Sunny, this is a reality. It's a topic that people normally don't talk about it, but you'd want to know that out there, we have people who are living into loveless marriages, and they are stuck. There's no one to come up for them, and they also feel like nobody cares. That's why we think it's a very important topic to talk so that we can empower someone to know what they are supposed to do or to encourage them to be able to stand up and live a better life in their situation if they can take it.
All right, Mike, why is it important for us to discuss this topic?
You know, married life can actually be a long life.
Right.
And you don't want to be in such a long journey, unhappy, and going through everything. So it's very important to talk about this so that at least we can bring joy and happiness back in this long journey. We get married to be happy, and you really don't want to be unhappy the rest of your life. So it's very important because people are finding ways of how can I enjoy this whole thing. Yes.
Liz, I think to begin from the very beginning, when we say loveless marriage, what do we mean exactly?
It comes in a two way. It can be someone's perception, how someone perceives the way they are loved, how they feel that this is how I am loved. And they also have expectations which they perceive that if a marriage is to be happy, this is what must be done. So they come into a marriage with those perceptions. And unfortunately, if their perceptions are not fulfilled, then they begin to think, wow, I think this is not a loving marriage. I am in a situation that is not what I expected. And the second thing is, it can be a reality. Sunny, there are people out there who are living in a situation where the spouse openly tells them that, you know what, I think I'm done. I'm fed up. It's not about you, but it's about me feeling that I no longer love you anymore. And this other person is surprised that, oh, okay, I'm no longer loved. It's verbalized, its action is put into it, and everything about you is just down. So it's two, either perceptions or it's a reality.
Mike, I think let's just go into that. When we talk about perceptions, what are some perceptions that one can go into when they get married? Or can think about, rather?
I think, like Liz says, perceptions is what we seem to sense, what we seem to see. And it may be real, it may not be real. And I think a person who tells themselves that when I am married, a man must treat me like this, like, for instance, they see other people opening doors to their wives, and the wife gets in, and she's treated like a queen. And she looks at the husband and says, you used to do it, but you have stopped doing this. And to her, the mere fact that it's no longer happening, it will suggest, like, I think love has gone through the window.
Yes. And that may not necessarily be true. Okay, that's fine. So how does a loveless marriage manifest? What does it look like when somebody's in a marriage that is loveless?
What we need to first of all understand is they've a starting point where at first they were feeling loved, there were actions that were being done, and all of a sudden or gradually in their relationship, there is a shift of attention from the spouse, maybe to the children. All time is spent kissing the child and talking to the child, and there's no more that closeness that they used to have between the two of them. And the shift can be also to other people besides the spouse. and it's very clear and tangible that this person is no longer having any other attention on me, it could be also shifted to work as an avoidance to be together with this person that they no longer have love feelings towards.
So you do whatever you can to stay away from the situation.
Yes.
Mike, any other thoughts?
Yes, basically, intimacy dies. You know, you used to be fond of each other. Affection was on cloud nine, and used to be friends doing things together. And at this point, you'll find that sweetness, that closeness simply dies, and emotionally, you'll find it just flat. Yes.
Yeah, and to add of that on that, there are feelings of resentment towards this spouse, either be it the wife when they no longer feel loved or they are no longer loving. They resent the spouse as if they were never good friends. Anything that person does puts them off. They get so irritable. They don't even want to see the person walk through. If they were chatting and they were happy with someone, the moment this person comes in, they feel gloomy. They are no longer that happy. They would feel like, what is this person doing here?
You must just go away.
Go away. And for no special reason, really. So it can be vice versa. The one who is also feeling unloved may start feeling the resentment that why should I give my attention or my love to this person? After all, they no longer care about me. And they begin to feel like getting themselves distanced, and they feel all evil or all bad feelings within them. They've butterflies the moment they see this person of hurt,
Right.
of pain, of things that they may not want to, just to show that they don't want to be close to this person. They
Because
resent them.
As you're talking, I'm just thinking, someone said it's very easy, the thin line between love and hate. And once you cross that line, it's very difficult sometimes to contain the way you behave towards somebody else. Mike, any other additions?
Yes, I think just to continue from what Liz is saying, you begin to see an emotional distance between these two. They tend to then move away from each other emotionally. And sometimes it may actually be physical, where even in bed, when they are sleeping in bed, you can see a big gap between these two people who were once lovers.
That's if they don't sleep on separate beds.
You see,
Yeah,
and sometimes they may even sleep in separate bedrooms. Yes.
Yeah, talking of sleeping in separate bedrooms, maybe that is just an indicator that they are no longer interested in one another. But there comes a time where even sex becomes a thing of the past. They no longer want to make love to each other, or if they are to make love, it's an obligation, not the joy of having it, not the fun of wanting to be that oneness that is brought by the conjugal rights. So no sex, and don't even talk about it.
Right.
Someone is ever tired, not because they are really tired, but they don't want to have it. Or they give all sorts of excuses just because they feel, why should I make love or have sex with someone who doesn't love me or someone whom I don't love anymore?
But also, I mean, I guess intimacy also has to come with feelings of being secure in a relationship. So if you don't feel loved, I guess then that won't work out at all. Yeah, Mike?
Yes. Another thing that comes in is, when another spouse takes pleasure in publicly embarrassing the other. You actually take pleasure. You have the joy of seeing someone break into tears, you name call, you demean, and you may do this in front of your parents. You really want to show your parents that this person now is good for nothing.
I'm
You
done with them.
I'm done with them. You want to do it in front of your friends. And everybody is like, wow, look at Jack, look at what these guys are doing. And for you, it's fun. As long as this person is embarrassed, you take no shame about it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's quite a sad scenario. You also discover that at times communication breaks down.
Mhm.
People start just talking question and answer form. How are you? I'm
fine.
okay.
Yeah.
Are you going to be home today? What do you think? You know, all those sort of lashing outs. There's no that sweetness that people used to talk together. There's no yearning of wanting to communicate. Someone doesn't even care how the days of your spouse was like. How are the children? People are just like, You can ask the child. Why ask me?
And you know what's said about that is, as you talking, the spouse will come home and, like you say, someone will say, "How are you?" Then what do you think? But when they leave the house, there's somebody else who's showing more care and more concern for them, and then that just destroys everything. That's very sad, Mike.
Um, I don't know how people feel about this.
Mm.
Yeah. When somebody then develops an affair, you may enjoy the affair, it may be emotionally fulfilling. But as you carry out that affair, your spouse, how does your spouse feel? Do they feel loved? Do they feel cared for? I think at that point, like she was talking of perceptions and reality, we get to a point where affairs make a statement to the other partner that I'm no longer loved.
Sure.
But
So, okay.
Sunny,
Please.
while we are still there, I also want to think that sometimes affairs may not necessarily mean not being loved.
Liz, how is that possible? How can a person have an affair and still love
You
the
know,
other spouse?
we are living in this world where there is bad influence.
Right.
And some people, they brag about having affairs. It's something to talk about. It can be a woman who is sharing with her friends, you know what, I found this guy, yeah? He makes me tick and all those sort of things. And yet, deep down in their hearts, they don't want the husband or the wife to know. It's just like passing time. So it is a bad thing that happens, but believe you me, sometimes it doesn't necessarily mean that this person doesn't love you.
There can be a bit of love left in there.
Yes, and like I have said, perceptions may not necessarily mean they are real. It is something that you are thinking of. So when you then see such type of manifestations taking place, you then conclude that, oh, because he has an affair, he no longer loves me. But no one digs deeper to find out what really is causing this affair. What are we really talking about
Right.
here? When someone is behaving in this manner, does it really mean that they no longer love you? Because believe you me, if someone really no longer loves you, they don't hide it.
They go away.
They go away and they
Yeah.
move. Yes.
Right. Mike,
Yeah.
any additions to that?
I just want to bring in another dimension.
Right.
Yes, we have stated these symptoms or manifestations that when you see this happening, maybe it suggests there's no love in the family. But sometimes it's just that the marriage is going through some challenges and some problems. And people can exhibit some symptoms or manifestations that suggest like there is no love. But yet it may just be people going through some time. They are going through a season. So you don't want to quickly conclude that I am not loved. You need to dig deeper. But I think I have a challenge when it becomes systematic and you do not care about fixing the marriage and providing solutions and you are happy doing the wrong thing. At that point, I think we have a challenge. But sometimes we are human. We make mistakes. We fight. We quarrel. Even love, marriages that are full of love, they argue, they quarrel, but they don't take pleasure in it. The problem is when you take pleasure in doing that which hurts your partner, I think then we have a challenge.
I think on that note, we'll just go to a very short break. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching Family Matters. And today we are discussing how to survive a loveless marriage. Mike and Liz, before the break, we're just discussing the manifestations of a loveless marriage. But I think now we need to talk about the psychological and social impacts of a loveless marriage. Liz?
It's very difficult, Sunny, to live in such a situation. This is a state where you find someone gets into a hopelessness situation. They don't know whether what's going to happen tomorrow. They don't know whether this is really happening to them. It's a state of confusion, a state where no one else can take them out of that situation, and they feel so alone. And it can also lead into one person who is very, very alone, the aloneness in the presence of the spouse or even in the presence of children and friends. And they cannot share it out because, something within them is dying slowly and they don't understand what it is and they can't share because society, what is it going to say about it? And so hence they are trapped in a hopelessness situation.
And when you talk about being alone when there's a crowd around you, I think that's one of the hardest things to go through life, with these people surrounding you, but still you feel like you're the only person on earth. That's a very painful process to go through, Mike.
I think somebody goes through the feeling of betrayal. You get them. We started on very well, but then suddenly something goes wrong, and you are left feeling empty, and this may move from stress to depression until you have somebody having sleepless nights. They can go for a year, they can go for a season, they can't catch sleep. During the day they are awake, and during the night they are awake, and life is just, they can't put, and they don't know where they are going.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And in sometimes there's this very strong feelings of guilty. Someone feels so guilty that what is it that I have done? Is it that I'm not doing something? How come the person is doing this to me? What really have I done? And the guilty is so bad. And sometimes even the one who is causing the family to be in a challenge, much as they may appear like they are happy out there, when they come back into this house, there is tangible feelings of guilty, but they put a facade. They don't want to show it and they don't want to talk about it.
Right.
And this guilty can lead them into depression, where at the end of the day, someone feels so depressed, they can't talk, their functioning is disturbed. If they were going to work, they start giving excuses at work, absenteeisms, and people get to wonder what is really happening. And the worst thing with depression, it can also lead to suicide. If I cannot be in this marriage, I would rather die.
Sure. The person feels I can't be anywhere else, so
I can't
there's
be
no
anywhere.
point in leaving.
It's very true. And you want to look at this person, if they were fully depending on the spouse who is now saying, I no longer love you, their life is just put at a halt. And the sadness is most of such people, they may even end up saying, I can't leave my children to suffer like this. So what do? They do murder suicide, where they contemplate it, they plan to kill the children first, and then they kill themselves. We better go because there's nothing more to live for. And this is a reality that we are facing in loveless marriages if there are no interventions.
As you're talking, I'm actually thinking, what then does that say about being so dependent on your spouse that when something like this happens, you feel so useless? How can one, is there a way of avoiding feeling, I don't know if dependent is the correct word, but feeling like that's all that you live for? How can one work around that or maneuver around it?
For me, let me speak in the context of women first,
Right.
because traditionally we tend to live in a male-dominated society. The men have got the better job sometimes. They've got the economy in their hands. But the woman out there is stuck to this gentleman, maybe unemployed. She depends on everything from this particular guy. So for me, I would want to encourage that women be economically empowered, so that you are not going to have a double-edged sword. You lose the love and you lose the economy as well. So at least let's empower women to be economically empowered, so that they only deal with the issue of the relationship, not also the issue of economic dependence on a person who does not love you.
Then you have one problem, not two.
Yeah, you have one problem, not two.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what, son? Believe you me, the world we are living in today, it's not only about women. There are men out there who get to find out that their wives are having affairs. And because their manhood, their ego is touched, they cannot go and tell people out there that, you know what, my wife is in affair.
Yeah.
Because they feel like, you are not making it, man. Why is your wife going out? Yeah. So they get depressed and they die. I don't have statistics, but in my sessions, as a counseling psychologist, you'll find a man breaks down, crying. And for you to see a man coming for counseling, it has gone deep.
It takes a lot.
It takes them to be out of themselves for them to come. And this is a situation where I am saying there are men out there who need also to be able to talk, because depression knows no gender.
Yes.
We have men who are hospitalized, suffering from BPs, suffering from ulcers, suffering from all sorts of stress-related situations because of living within a loveless marriage. And for a man to discover that the woman is saying, I am going, sometimes if the wife is the one on the wrong side, it really destroys this man.
Right.
And it's a reality that is happening. Gone are the days where we would say it's only on the women.
Yes.
Today's world, both men and women need to be able to be addressed on the equal basis, because it's a challenge that covers everyone.
Yes. I want to bring in another social aspect,
Right.
the social impact. I think a child is a child, whether you are married or not, and it doesn't matter how old you are. Can you imagine a parent realizing that my daughter is not loved in this marriage? My son is not loved. They cannot remain neutral and unaffected by that. So it devastates even the parents. They get affected by what you two guys are doing. And not only that, even the children. Can you imagine these children every day spectating mom and dad do their own thing, destroy one another? The children also get destroyed in the process. It may affect them even academically. Can you imagine you are in class and your parents out there have stopped loving one another? Will you make it in class? So the social impact and the family impact is far-reaching than we can imagine.
When you talk about children,
Yes.
the other thought is that, I mean, they also take it sometimes into their own relationships, because
Yes.
this is the environment that they're growing in.
Mhm.
It affects the way that they deal with their partners in
Exactly,
the future
yes.
as well. It's a
Yes.
very difficult way.
Yes, if you grow without love,
Mm.
you can't give what you don't have.
'Cause you
You are
don't
going
know.
to carry that loveless life into your own marriage.
Right.
And that marriage is also going to fail because the only thing you know is what mom and dad were doing.
And that's what they taught you.
Exactly.
Yeah, Liz.
Yeah, I want to say, I think a loveless marriage can be so difficult for people to even resolve issues or even discuss issues. And hence we have people who bottle up. They cannot talk what they are going through. They have been bubbling, they were joyful, and everything was well in place for them. But all of a sudden, they find themselves pressed to a corner where there is no one to even discuss the issue about. There's not even anyone to ask why things are happening the way they are happening, because there is sudden death of communication. There is tangible silence in the house between husband and wife, such that at the end of the day, bottled issues boil in, and you see this person losing appetite. Like what Mike has said, they then find themselves not sleeping, get into depression, decide to kill themselves, and they're still holding on to this marriage. And you wonder, sometimes I wonder what keeps people holding in such situations.
Right.
Yeah.
I think in the interest of time, let's look at Mike. When one finds themselves in a loveless marriage, how can they cope? How can they survive this?
Yes. First, maybe let me speak to Bible-based believers. Yeah, Bible-based believers. In the Bible, we get an idea that love is all about giving and not receiving. So you can be in this relationship and be content with, at least, Lord, help me, I'm doing my part. I will love. I cannot instruct the other person to love me. I cannot be in their hearts to love me. So I'll leave them to decide what they want to do with me. But as for me, help me, Jesus, I will love.
That's it. Liz?
I want to say, Sunny, you need to know why, as a person, you are holding on to a loveless marriage. What is it that is holding you? Because you can walk out. There are people who can walk out. So when you know what is holding you in, look at that positive and focus on it. Because this person may be doing things that are not right, but every person has something positive that can keep you going. So you need to know the positive that is making you hold on. Because once you lose that, then you find yourself out of that marriage.
Now
Yeah,
I have
uh,
to ask this question.
Sorry,
Yes.
just a little caution on what Liz has just said. Why are you in it when you can possibly walk out? And I'm sure she's not promoting like divorce.
No.
The Bible says God hates divorce. But the point is, while God hates divorce, don't just be in it because God hates divorce. You need to be doing something about it. Find out other higher reasons, like she's saying, of remaining in that marriage apart from I am in it because God hates divorce.
Yeah.
Yes. While we're talking about God, Liz, are there any biblical examples of loveless marriages and how they survived?
Yes, Sen, there is a case or a story of Jacob and Leah and Rachel. The Bible openly says Jacob loved Rachel and Leah was not loved. But believe you me, Leah continued living in that relationship, doing all that she could do. And God blessed Leah. It's clear in the Bible. So even in a bad relationship, if you know, like I'm saying, focus on why you are there and you do your best part, like Leah did. She was so blessed so much that even today we have Jesus coming from the lineage of Leah.
Yes.
But this is a woman who was not loved.
Yes.
So you can still do the right things while you are in a marriage that is a loveless marriage. And I also want to say, we need to be able to cast our cares to the Lord.
Yes.
We get that from
Amen.
Psalms 55,
Yes.
verse 22.
Yes.
Unfortunately, in most times, we hold on to pain and to all these feelings without casting our cares to God. Honestly speaking, God cares.
Yes.
And He is there to do things beyond our abilities and capabilities. So we surrender to God, and God will carry us through.
Mike, I know you're itching to
I'm
say something,
itching.
but unfortunately, time has run out.
Yes.
But I'm sure we'll be able to discuss further as we go through the
Yes.
weeks. We've come to the end of our program, and I hope that you learned one or two things. If you have any views or questions, please contact Mike and Liz using the details on the screen, and I'm sure that they'll get back to you as soon as possible. Until next time, goodbye and God bless.